The rapid growth of the global economy has caused a demand for prompt transportation in China. More traditional types of transportation, like airplanes, can no longer support passengers' demand due to their capacity limitation and their high requirement for infrastructure. A solution to this problem is the development of high-speed railways. With a high-speed rail empire emerging in China, both China and the rest of the world are facing a revolution of transportation. The first development plan came out in 2004, and by 2008 the first high-speed rail connecting Beijing and Tianjin started to run. The country's network has grown to 6,800 miles of dedicated track in the following 6 years, making it by far the world's largest transportation system. The development of railway helps boost the local economy and increases the affected city's capacity. For example, the railway connecting Beijing and Shanghai saves Chinese citizens an average of 5 hours per trip, reducing the travel time from about 9.5 hours to a mere 4.5. This is of huge importance to the economy, since the Chinese citizens can now travel in bigger capacities while improving local economies along the way. Within the first 5 years of activity, the innovative rail system has already proven to be a success, carrying over twice as many passengers as its domestic airline competitors. With traffic growing 28% a year for the last several years, China's high-speed rail network will be able to carry more than 54 million passengers per month, surpassing the amount of passengers that the United States Airlines currently transport, proving to be a serious competitor for the leading nation. Li, a shoe factory worker, rides the 430-mile route from Guangzhou home to Shanghai once a month to visit her daughter. Miss Li used to see her daughter just once a year because the trip took a full day. Now she comes back in 2 hours 19 minutes. Business executives like Jen, a founder of the stock market in coastal Shenzhen, ride bullet trains to meetings all over China to avoid airport delays. The train hurtles along at 106 miles an hour and are smooth, well-lighted, comfortable, and almost always punctual, if not early. I did not think it would change so quickly. High-speed trains seemed like a strange thing, but now it's just part of our lives, Mr. Jen said. China's high-speed rail system has emerged as an unexpected success story. Economists and transportation experts cite it as one reason for China's continued economic growth when other emerging economies are faltering. By not only providing a new form of transportation, but also cleverly choosing out prime cities to target, Chinese citizens will now generate more economic wealth by having a much larger market than before. According to the World Bank, in the coastal region of Guangdong, there is an estimated 10% rise in average business productivity. Although the high-speed rail system has been an overall success, there have been issues in its development and implementation. The rail was built through densely populated areas, so many people had to be displaced. Mostly low-income families were kicked out of their homes, which caused widespread outrage. Problems also arose with the implementation and construction of the rail system, which led to safety hazards. The government built these railways at a high-speed rate, therefore developers overlooked many details. Even Railroad Minister Liu Zhijin was quoted multiple times saying, "To achieve a great leap, a generation must be sacrificed." Due to this train of thought, in July of 2011, the Wenzhou tragedy occurred. A lightning bolt hit the train and caused it to stall, and then another train rammed into it. Over 200 people were injured in the crash and 40 were killed. Malfunctions in equipment and improper handling of the lightning were the main causes of this tragedy. Many criticized the government for building the rails too quickly and placing safety as a second priority.
Despite these emerging problems at the early period, China's high-speed rail boom has resonated around the globe. A recently inaugurated high-speed rail line in Turkey, which will carry passengers 530 kilometers between the country's largest city, Istanbul, and its capital, Ankara, in 3.5 hours, at speeds up to 250 kilometers per hour, represents China's first major completed high-speed rail project in a foreign market. The China Railway Construction Corporation and China National Machinery Import and Export Corporation won the contract to build the line in 2005. Turkey's Ankara-Istanbul line might be the first international Chinese-assisted high-speed rail project to be completed, but it certainly will not be the last. The Chinese government is presiding over negotiations to bring Chinese technology and construction to planned high-speed rail projects all over the world. The broad strategy is to leverage China's main trump card for the high-speed rail exports, which is the same strength it brings to most of its export industries: low cost. China's centralized technology ownership and relatively low overheads have allowed it to become the discount high-speed rail provider, as proven by the low construction costs it has achieved on its domestic projects, pegged by the World Bank at roughly $17 to $21 million per kilometer, compared to $25 to $39 million in Europe. The Chinese state can negotiate attractive export terms for its fully owned high-speed rail tech, a luxury not afforded to its European and Japanese rivals. In other countries, it is difficult to export all the technologies since they are controlled by different companies, said Zhi Zhailun, a professor at Beijing Transportation University. Experienced firms from Beijing and Shanghai are now proposing lines in places as desperate as Kenya, Israel, Colombia, Venezuela, Turkey, and Russia, in an official sales policy that the central government has termed Go Abroad. If nothing else, China is now the undisputed leader in this sector, or as a member of the Chinese Academy of Engineering said, high-speed rail is to China what watches are to Switzerland, electronic appliances are to Japan, and machinery is to Germany. Having worked with extreme diligence for more than 15 years, China is presenting its revolutionary rail system to the outside world, and is teaching established railway masters in Europe and other developed markets valuable lessons. Alongside Europe, there are many developing economies that are proving increasingly keen to secure the benefits of China's high-speed rail labor at a lower cost than its rivals can achieve. High-speed rail advances will prove to further connect an increasingly interdependent world. This is a prime example of a factor that could lead to a fusion world, as explained in the NIC 2030 report. In this world, all economies rise, and there is more worldwide cooperation. Technological innovation is critical in making this world possible. Looking at this system from the viewpoint of Meadows' diagrams, one could discern that, from China's perspective, as China develops its Go Abroad strategy, it will continue to invest in countries looking to import high-speed rails. In turn, these gains will reinforce China's incentive to increase investment in the rail system. From the global perspective, as China enters the market alongside European countries and Japan, the market share will fluctuate. With increased competition, the world markets will demand greater technologies at a lower cost, reinforcing increased investment from supplier countries. China's high-speed rail could be one of these technological innovations that could spearhead the world into a fusion outcome. The Chinese high-speed rail system will increase global connectivity, decrease costs worldwide, and be a main factor in a successful future global economy.